Hello everyone, I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we did a bit of exploring out here and finished looking through Chili Creek. We then made our way back westwards, and as we were coming across the river, we encountered a member of the Hellknights, who basically asked us for help as they were under attack by gargoyles. Well, we're taking a slight detour to this reliable redoubt in order to see if we can help them out. Let's see what we can do. Alright, first up, you get on the horse. Thank you. Looks like the Hellknights continued. Oh, I missed that. Commander, come here, quickly! From the mountain, you see a raided camp and two groups of warriors, one wearing white and yellow armor, the other in black. They are led by a tall man in white priest's robes. Some of the warriors glance around fretfully, their weapons shaking in their hands. You hear the screams of gargoyles from above. The beasts are approaching the camp.
Quickly, evacuate the wounded. The beasts are about to strike again. Use cloaks as stretchers. We've got to make it through. Paralictor, your people will have to cover us while...
2 more minutes left out in the open, and neither you nor I will have any troops left to order about, Crusader.
But the wounded...
Problem solved. Retreat to shelter!
The one called Paralictor makes a barely noticeable gesture, and the swords of his troops execute the wounded. If the man in white has anything further to add, his words are drowned out by the shrieks of gargoyles as they fall from the sky. Well, that was cool. The Paralictor will lead the unit to shelter. We need to get through to them. That should say everything about him. Now, as we were doing here, the Hell Knight continued to fight the gargoyle even from the air. They both fell to the rocks and perished. Oh look, more gargoyles. And there's gargoyles are dead. Now, as for looting the things here, there might be something over here, but I kinda doubt it. There is not. Okay. Right, so, gargoyles. They may be creatures of stone, but they still somehow bleed. There's another. Okay, there goes that bunch of gargoyles. What do we got next? Okay, there's some loot. The sight before you is at once macabre and picturesque. A lifeless couple, a man and a woman dressed in white and yellow priest robes, lie on the ground surrounded by the bodies of dead gargoyles. They are tangled in death. The claws of the monsters are tearing at the human's clothes, and the largest gargoyle's talon has pierced the man's chest and punctured his heart. But before they died, he or his companion defeated the enemy. Suddenly, the woman opens her eyes. She doesn't look at you, but stares up at the Worldwound's horrific sky. Her pale lips open, and she exhales abruptly. The sun will never rise again. There's only darkness above me. Even the sky here is cursed, and we along with it. Yacker, walking in the front, steps over the man's body without looking, but turns around at the sound of the woman's voice. The Mendavian faithful break too easily. Oh, if all Mendavian devotees broke easily, I would be much happier. Unfortunately, most of them have good health, unconquerable will, and a never-ending desire to moralize. Darren is jeering, but looks at the wounded woman with hesitation. He shrugs. She is not just wounded, I can see the signs of severe exhaustion. I wonder what happened here. Who are you? You need help. You'll feel better now. The woman pushes you away with a weak gesture. Expend your efforts on someone who can be helped. Leave me. My crusade is over. Who are you? What happened here? I am a priestess of Ardent Sarenrae from the Order of the Sunrise Sword. Next to me is Ashes Strager, the head of our order. Sorrowful pride sounds in the woman's voice. He has led our forces on raids to the Worldwound many times, but this campaign... The gargoyles attacked a few nights ago. A vast number. We've never seen anything like it. Ashes organized our resistance with great skill, but while the monsters were distracting our fighters, a small group of them raided the camp and took our supplies. We were left without food and water in the middle of the Worldwound, where it's nearly impossible to find provisions. We shared the last crumbs of our supplies and set off back the way we came. Everyone was suffering from hunger and thirst. We grew weak and could barely fight back when the gargoyles struck a second time. They snatched many of us away. I saw the pain on Ash's face as he counted the losses, but he managed to rally us. We continued our trek and soon came across traces of a recent battle. Someone had destroyed a troop of demon worshippers. In our desperation, we decided to follow the strangers, to warn them of the gargoyles and seek their help, having no idea they were Hellknights. But we received only scorn. Every gulp of water in my unit is accounted for, they said. They spared us 2 flasks and a sack of dried bread. They said we were allowed to keep the sack to use as bandages. 2 flasks between all of us. A sack for bandages. Hellknights. Sela curls her fists, almost grunting through her clenched teeth. I'd rather ally with a flesh-eating poisonous wyvern. A leader has to take care of their own tribe first. All the scandalized gas. How could he do such a thing? Suddenly fall away when you're first faced with a hard choice. Are you going to take food out of your own child's mouth to feed a starving stranger? That's something I find interesting about Lan. He's generally a relatively good guy, but he's also one who cares about the good of the tribe over charity. He's interesting in his own way. What happened after that? The gargoyles attacked. Despite how the Hellknight Paralictor had treated us, Ashes endeavored to help them and had us carry their wounded. But that monster had them slaughtered. Ashes was beside himself. It's difficult to conceive of such evil. He told our people to go with the Hellknights to find shelter, while he stayed to cover our retreat. He was a strong cleric, but as he treated our wounded, he neglected himself. And he paid for it. That's quite a story. I can just picture it on the stage of a grand royal theater, rustling silk, gold adornments, the tragic lead singing the final aria. Is it time for me to applaud yet? It's not often that you come across such heart-wrenching and theatrical plots outside the stage. Oh, you have excellent taste. When this war is over, would you care to accompany me to some fashionable premiere? We can yawn through the soliloquies, laugh at the role-hopping actors, that sort of lark. Possibly. Then it's agreed. After the war, 6 o'clock sharp. Your commander can't be helped, but you're still alive. Allow me to help you and come with us. The woman looks at you wistfully. Why? So many deaths. So many sacrifices, such bravery, all for what? No, I will not go with you, stranger. My commander and I will die by what we lived for, compassion and nobility. I don't want to keep fighting for a world that bows to such laws. May the goddess forgive me. Farewell. The woman closes her eyes, exhausted. Yaker shakes his head. Commander, I'm not one to advise you, but you're wasting time on this fool, and the gargoyles will soon be back. That's their usual tactics. Fly up, regroup, attack again. I'm going back to my unit now, and I'd advise you not to stay here long either. And she had a potion of Cure Light Wounds on her. I have a feeling she probably loved him or cared about him deeply. More gargoyle! Kill!
Save the last one for me.
Down goes one. A half-fiend gargoyle cleric. Oh, and we got more. Alright, you three, get on that
Won't
gargoyle.
survive me.
Almost. And down they all go. Alright. Look what we can here, I suppose. Pick the lock.
I am helpful, am I not?
Muscle warmer. Ooh, new armor. Could that go on you? What kind of armor is it? This +2 hide barding grants its wearer cold resistance 10 and a +2 competence bonus on saving throws against movement impairing effects. You know what? That's better than what they're currently wearing. Definitely gonna wear that. And, put this up there. Okay. Lore nature, what do we got? Demonic energy has polluted the earth, creating tremors filled with poison. Lovely. Ah, looks like we found where they went to hide. Let's give me a bit of a healing. And a little more. And let's drop a save before we go in here, just to be safe. Alright, into the cave we go. There they are.
Knight Commander, I presume. Your glory precedes you. I am Reginald Reg, Herelictor of the Order of the God Claw, and temporary officer of the joint unit of Hellknights and the Order of the Sunrise Sword. You and your people should take positions. The gargoyles are regrouping. We expect they will attempt to break through in 5 to 6 minutes.
The moment you step across the threshold, you're targeted with pale yellow eyes. A gnome with considerable gray in his hair, dressed in black armor, lowers his head slightly.
A paralictor indeed. Impressive.
Are you in command of this unit? Oh, no? Then step aside and let me discuss the matter with the commander.
The gnome interrupts Daerin confidently. A joint unit.
Forcibly joined. The leader of the Order of the Sunrise Sword was unable to get to safety, which is not surprising, considering his, shall we say, excessive scrupulousness and sluggishness. Given the extreme situation, I took command of his people.
It's supposed to be good when different people unite. We're here for a common cause. But it still gives me the creeps for some reason. Hellknights shouldn't be allowed to get their claws into our paladins. It's wrong.
I saw you ordered your own wounded to be finished off.
Indeed. The gargoyles were clearly trying to capture as many prisoners as they could. I don't know the reason behind these abductions, but I'm not about to give the enemy what they want. That is why all my people were ordered not to be taken alive. And as for the wounded, we didn't have time to get them to safety anyway.
Can you hear yourself? For the sake of principle, in order not to give the enemy what they want, you killed your own wounded. Helpless subordinates. Why does anyone still follow you?
Because we are Hellknights. We know our duty.
Only someone who's never been responsible for the lives of others could feel any outrage at this decision. The wounded couldn't be saved. What good would it do to anyone if the rest perished along with them?
Yeesh.
What charming people. Those fellows in black make Holrun look like a sweet old soul by comparison.
Did you really just give 2 flasks of water to the Knights of the Sunrise Sword suffering from thirst, and a sack to use as bandages? Standing behind his commander, Yeager rolls his eyes.
I spared them the exact volume of resources I could sacrifice without risking my own people. However, the situation has developed, and I've already ordered they be given additional supplies. They are temporarily under my charge, and I can use their forces to rebuff the attack. They'll work for their water.
Regil raises his voice and speaks emphatically, ignoring a whisper coming from a group of Knights of the Sunrise Sword. He seems to be reiterating his position for their benefit. Sometimes you must act first and deal with the consequences later. Sacrifice nothing and you will gain nothing.
Noble Ashes and his Sunrise Swords have already done so. This is what it led to.
That's right. The chief is responsible for his own tribe. If he decides that he's responsible for the whole world, his own people will come to ruin. And if he wishes that someone else was responsible for his people, that means he's not fit to be chief.
Regil's harsh words cause a whisper among the knights in pale and in white and yellow. Fine, we need to get rid of the gargoyles and then we'll talk.
Agreed. Be ready, Commander. This attack may be worse than the last one.
And right behind us, Half-Fiend Gargoyle Hunters. Alright, you know what? I think this is gonna be a big fight, so turn-based it shall be. Nice hits, Yacker, I have to say. Daerin, would you be able to finish him off?
Out of my sight!
You would not. I will go after this one, and you know what? Let me see something. Acid, cold, electric, and fire. Resistance to all of them. None of them would be particularly good, I don't think. Hold on. Bonus to attack rolls. Deny their dex bonus. I think yours has... Yeah, it's already a +1, and it's a ghost touch. Oh. Oh, it's a range thing. Okay, yeah, you know what? Just attack.
Don't hold back.
That did not work out. Alright, Lan. You can finish off this gargoyle. Oh, we've got more. Okay, we've got more gargoyles here, including a cleric. The cleric will need to die as soon as possible. Can we get a good spell out? They're resistant to most damages. You know what? Bless. Nenio. They're not resistant to sound. That is true. Well, that had to hurt. Almost got him, Regil. Alright, Sela, get past and take care of that cleric.
The light. break you!
Well, you did some attacks at least. Surprisingly... Oh, the ear-piercing screen stunned him! Ow, 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 ow. Can one of you just kill that one? Alright, definitely need to give a healing to me. I have taken a lot of damage there. There we go. You can at least kill this hunter. Or you can't even hit him. There we go, you killed it. Alright, Lan. We need to get this guy dead. Kill that cleric.
Strike count.
That's a good amount of damage. Camellia. You can at least get in place to smack
I'll
this
cut you
one.
wide open.
Nenio. Magic missile sounds like a good idea. It's almost dead. Alright, finish this one off. There you go. Cleric's dead. Just a couple more gargoyles. Ow. 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 I'm still up, somehow. Oh! Last stand. You can see, last stand is actually very useful to have. Right. Another healing for me, please. Thank you. And... you know what? No, there's no... Ooh, actually... yeah, let's go ahead. Let's try prescient attack. Attack it.
You should have run.
Got it. Oh god, we got more from behind. That's definitely not good. Okay, Lan, bring up that. You can at least do something about this hunter.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
That's an amount of damage. We could try a fireball against it. Okay, Camellia, stab this one.
Spirits demand your blood.
Nenio, you can... Ooh. Ooh. You know what? Screw it. Lightning bolt. Well, they killed one of them. Alright, Sela? Alright, try and kill this one.
The inheritor, guide my blade.
Round 4. And we've got another cleric. We are really getting overwhelmed here. Okay, thank you for killing one of them at least.
A mere flesh wound.
Right, Darren, give another healing. That'll do. Okay, you can't get to that cleric. We'll do prescient attack. And I am going to do this, spell combat. Lets you get out a spell. That's a high cleric, that's definitely not good. Better idea, mirror image.
This will hurt.
Okay, we at least got some attacks out. Hey, you killed one. Good. Alright, Lan. We need this again. There goes one. And some shots at the cleric. Camellia. Yeah, getting on the cleric seems like a good idea.
You are today's sacrifice.
Nenio. Magic missile. On the cleric. What damage you can. Sela, you are gonna have to do this. I have an idea. It's probably evil.
No glory without risk.
That's a lot of damage to that cleric. Thank you. The mirror image was actually a good thing. Darren, we're kind of good at the moment. Can't do much. Step back a little bit. Shoot the cleric.
I will see to your demise.
You. Go ahead with prescient attack. Go after the Go after the hunter. That's at least a little bit of damage. Nice job, Hellknight. Alright, Lan. Shoot that one. Good, that one's dead. That one's dead. We've almost got him. Just got one more hunter to deal with.
You're irrelevant.
There we go. Right. That was shockingly tough.
Missed me already.
Alright. Let's talk with you, Regil. Regil gracefully stows his weapon and places his hands behind his back. You two, check the area. Mark any potential shelters that offer protection against aerial attacks. Quartermaster, inventory the remnants of the camp. I want to make sure that the gargoyles only abducted people and weren't interested in anything else. Send messengers immediately to our scout squads and order them to return to camp. And I need a full list of casualties. The sooner the better. He turns to you and nods slightly. Commander, your arrival was well timed. Now we can finally talk. I am quite interested in the events that occurred at the Grey Garrison, and I suppose you have questions from me as well. What do you want to know about what happened at the Grey Garrison? Any shift in the balance of power during this war has a direct impact on my mission. If a new player appears who is capable of fighting demons effectively, then I am ready to support that person with all the resources I have at my disposal. But naturally, I cannot blindly trust a stranger, even one marked by the gods. Let's see. The gods blessed me with an incredible gift, and Queen Galfrey put me at the helm of the crusade, but that's not enough for you, is it? The will of the gods cannot and should not replace our sound judgment, and the whims of the Queen of Mendev are of no consequence at all. Regil stops for a moment, thinking. Is there anything you'd like to know before we move on to more serious issues? What are Hellknights doing here within the borders of the Worldwound? The same as you and your army, fighting a war against the demons. The Hellknights have always been a part of the Crusades from the very beginning. We don't answer to Queen Galfrey, and we act on our own authority, but we serve the common cause. Daskari's spawn have no place in the world we want to build. Regil barks out the final words. Funny, isn't it? Knights clad in black armor have been fighting this war from the off, but most people don't even know it. The face of the Crusades is a Mendavian paladin with the sword of Iomade gleaming on their gilded armor. In that respect, my cousin Galfrey has a rare flair for propaganda, propaganda, I must say. For the Hellknights, the world wound is just one of several targets. They expend much greater efforts on book burning and suppressing slave uprisings. Yes, their order sent reinforcements here, but Mendev has always borne the brunt of this war. What if I want to join the ranks of the Hellknights? The requirements for knights and signifiers are common knowledge, and they must certainly be satisfied. If you do that, the orders will consider your request. Any further discussion prior to your completion of the necessary tasks is pointless. Not every fighter or spellcaster is fit to serve with us. What does Paralictor mean? I am the commander of this unit, and in the Order's hierarchy I am 2 steps lower than its leader. In the territory of Mendev and the World Wound, there are few who equal my rank, but I am the most senior Hellknight officer from many leagues around. We're not done talking about your atrocities. Of course. If you wish, I will explain my position in detail. All the soldiers killed at my order belong to my unit. Therefore, the case is an internal matter for the Order of the Godclaw. You could have sent an appeal to the Order commanders, but the result is inevitable. Not only do the Order's rule and field operation guidelines not prohibit it, they even recommend a policy of death is preferable to captivity. So everything that happened, though it is surely lamentable, and has deprived me of a few good fighters, is also a prime example of military necessity. I cannot influence your internal rules, but I hope you understand where the jurisdiction of your order ends and ours begins. I am not trying to force our rules on Crusaders, Commander. I hope you won't try to make us disregard ours. If the incident is settled, I suppose we can return to relevant matters. What are you going to do now after the gargoyle attack? I will wait for my remaining fighters to return. What you see here is only a small part of my forces. As for my long-term plans, that depends on the results of our conversation, Commander. Before we move on to serious subjects, I'd like to address an organizational issue regarding my unit. You may wish to be present. Yaker steps forward and salutes with a clenched fist to his chest. Paralictor, permission to report. During the first gargoyle attack, I determined it necessary to leave my post. I swam over the river, found the commander's army, and asked them to provide assistance. Regal nods. The reinforcements were much needed. You will earn a double salary for your resourcefulness, Yaker, and 100 lashes for abandoning your post. The young knight grows a little pale, but immediately salutes again. Yes, Paralictor! I wonder if it's foolish and overly harsh to punish Yaker for leaving his post when he did it to bring help. It would be foolish and harsh, but entirely lawful to execute him for desertion. Regal peers at Yaker with his pale yellow eyes. Did you know the location of the commander's squad, Knight? No, Paralictor. I assumed I might meet friendly troops on the other side of the river, but I couldn't know for sure. You see, Commander? Of course, I could be gracious and look the other way, but that would mean that during the next battle, 10 or 20 of my people will think it's high time they ran to get help. Initiative requires reasonable limits. Not to mention, 100 lashes is hardly a punishment for a true Hellknight. I'd say it's more of a spiritual warm-up. Yaker gives you a serious look. Thank you for your concern, Commander, but I do not wish to evade fair punishment. I wouldn't be a Hellknight if I did. Are these guys made of stone or what? They seem creepy, but I kinda like them. Some people have a penchant for whips, but I never thought you'd be one of them. Hasn't nature punished you enough? Regal, who has watched you closely throughout the entire conversation, nods to himself. Now for a more delicate issue. You, Commander, were interested in our dispute with the Knights of the Order of the Sunrise Sword, correct? Their forces in Canabra has suffered great losses in the demon attack, and now their leader has perished, and his troops are in trouble. They are reeling with no command structure. Their order will hardly be able to recover from the losses they've suffered. What are you getting at? These fighters aren't the finest material I've worked with, but if I assume formal command over them, I'll be able to reforge them into weapons of reasonable quality. 1 or 2 might even become true Hellknights. The rest will be put to good use as well. Do you really think these people will follow you, after how you've treated them? Though not the best, they are still warriors and knights. They know what discipline is, and that victory in war doesn't come without cost. Any among them who still haven't realized that aren't worth my time and effort. What does this have to do with me? A spark flashes in Regulus' pale yellow eyes. I suppose, Commander, that for leagues around, from Canabris to Dresden, and from Dresden to the cursed city of Iz at the heart of the world wound, all of this pertains to you in one way or another. You are the catalyst that shifted an age-old balance of power, whether you meant to or not. Your own future, and much more, depends on the decisions you make here and now, even the ones that seem insignificant. No one but them has the right to decide their fate. Talk to them directly and get their answer. Regil looks at the warriors in white and yellow, shifting cheerlessly from one foot to the others. Initiates of the Sunrise Sword, your leader is dead. The Order has suffered serious losses and will not be able to recover. You may return to Mendev to join another Crusader Order and hope that they don't meet the same fate as the Sunrise Sword. Or, you may remain under my command. I will not promise that it will be easy, or that our war-making will be constricted by your principles. What I can promise is this. Under my command, you will never again feel like helpless mice in the talons of a ravenous raptor. He's used to people following his orders. Then again, these sniveling cowards are used to humiliating treatment. They won't even consider testing him a little. What would you do in their position? Challenge the gnome in black to a duel and make him prove himself worthy of command? I would never end up in their position. Does that mean we've worked off the precious resources you spent on us? The water, medicine, and bandages? Yells one of the knights in white and yellow. I wouldn't make such an offer if I thought you were useless garbage. The initiates of the Sunrise Sword consult with each other for a time, and then one of them, a young woman in knight's armor, steps forward. Thank you for your trust, Paralictor. We will stay and are ready to obey your orders. Fine. In due course, I will review your troops and make any necessary decisions regarding your role in my unit. And now, Commander, for the most important issue, cooperation between our forces. We do have a common enemy and a common battlefield. You're looking at me strangely, Paralictor. When we discussed Yakker's punishment and when we were deciding the fate of the Sunrise Sword, it's as if you're testing me. Regil lowers his head in a gesture that might be read as respectful. I do not believe I made any attempt to conceal my interest in you, both as a new strong leader in the region, and as the bearer of a highly unusual power. Of course I'd like to know what's inside your head. One could say that's my duty. My army and I are going to Dresden to free the city from demons. You can join forces with us. Regil rubs his chin pensively. Dresden. An ambitious goal, but most reasonable. Imagine how such a victory would rally all the separate bands of today's Crusaders under one banner, and we certainly need a base of operations inside the Worldwound. I stand ready to support you. Moreover, I can accompany you in your campaign. However, I would remind you that Hellknights are outside of Mendev's jurisdiction. My unit and I will join your forces and obey your orders, but only for as long as I deem that our goals coincide. Hell no! We don't need the likes of these black-armored statues. I don't want to fight side by side with someone who will slit my throat if I'm weak and wounded. You can't defeat one evil by inviting an equal but slightly more organized evil into your ranks. Slightly more organized than the demons. I would consider that an insult. I've never dealt with Hellknights before, but from what we've seen, they're serious fighters. That's just what we need. And just think how that armor will look in the paintings they'll make about our battles. It's a deal. Yes, Commander. My forces and Regil Derenge are at your disposal. And we'll speak with you in camp later. For now, I am going to go ahead and end this episode here. Next episode, we have one more small thing to look at in here. Another area over on the side. And then we'll move on to another location. Sorry this episode went long. That'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Trustic44. I'll send in Spelai. That is me, Sela, Camellia, Lan, Daron, and Nenio. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. And I shall see you all next time.